All right, we are live. Welcome, guys. Today, we are going to be doing some live sourcing specifically with Flipmine. So let's just go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen here. All right, so Flipmine. Basically, there's a bunch of different ways you can do this, and really, as you get more and more used to this and more good at sourcing, because sourcing is a skill, and you need to build up some reps in order to kind of like actually do well with it. You can be more specific with stuff, or you can be less specific with stuff. So for today, we're going to start with something a little bit less specific. $8 profit. We're going to source new condition, source at least 30% ROI, and we're not going to have like a super low sales rank. We're going to keep it pretty broad. As you like want to change things, you could literally raise this and be like, yo, I only want stuff that's $300 profit. I'm definitely not to that point yet, because there's only going to be so many results when you narrow things down like this. You can mess with your ROI. You could source both new and used. You could just look for lower sales rank items. But basically, you can kind of go at this any way that you like. But this way, there's going to be a lot of results. And especially when we refresh this page, there's probably going to be new results. And so that's a big deal, being able to see those new results and take action pretty quickly. So refreshing the page here, we see some new stuff already, which is pretty interesting. We're seeing something that's already very high profit. It's also high sales rank, and I know for a fact that this is probably in the computers and accessories category. We're still going to take a look, because sometimes it's that high rank stuff is better than expected, because it's high rank because nobody's been in stock. So we're taking a look here. It's actually in electronics. So I mean, 300K, 380K in electronics is still really bad, but we are seeing that there's no offers, like I was talking about before. So this is, it had potential, but like looking at this is probably going to be a no-go. This is, there's just not much data on this. And to spend this much money on something that doesn't have a ton of data is a no-go for me. We got these. We're seeing 82% ROI, $25 profit. I know for a fact these are subcategories. So we're going to, sometimes when you're sourcing a Flipmine here, subcategories are a little bit more advanced, but I'll kind of go over it. So basically, everybody knows, I think most people who are doing Amazon at this point know that, there's all these different categories on Amazon. So basically, I'm just showing you all the basic categories. There's all of these main categories. But the thing is, within each of these categories, there are subcategories. And we just know that there's sales ranks for each of these categories. And so you can generally know, like, okay, if it's under 100K in clothing, shoes, and jewelry, it's relatively quick. And you can be pretty general with it and actually like do pretty well. But as you get more advanced, you can be more and more specific and understand the nuances of this. And that's pretty helpful. And one of the nuances is subcategories. So we're seeing 50 in camera, photo, high 8 blank media. So one thing is, a lot of people, when they're looking at Keepa, well, first of all, a lot of people don't even look at Keepa, just like they don't even look at any kind of guidance for their life or the Bible or anything, but that's besides the point. It's kind of ridiculous doing Amazon without Keepa, especially when you're putting a lot of money on the line. Like I spent $2,500 this morning on one purchase. And like, was I going to spend $2,500 on a purchase without all of the data in front of me in order to validate that purchase? Like, no. Like, I'm going to have all the data possible, and I'm going to make sure that I'm not just throwing away $2,500. And like, go into life, we want to make sure that we're actually being and doing life in the right way. So like for me, I'm a Christian. I very much so suggest taking a look at the Bible. You've heard tons of bad things about it, probably. That is, you know, it's potentially there are people who are trying to follow it and they're just doing a bad job. So maybe you need to consider that and consider it again. But anyways, Keepa, subcategories. A lot of you guys have this. There's a way that you can take away this center category. So at a very basic level, we're just going to open up another item just to understand what's going on with Keepa. Usually what you're going to see on a Keepa graph is you're going to see green lines going up and down in this top section. And those green lines going up and down basically tell us whether there's sales or not. So when the green line goes down, like this one, there's a good bit of activity. The closer to zero the sales rank is, the faster it sells. So when we see a sales rank go down straight like this, you know, like a sale probably happened at that point. And when it stays down like this over here in this section, that means that, you know, it's getting a lot of sales and a lot of sales are happening. And so the other basic part of Keepa, it's not that complicated. I know it's very intimidating if you're just getting started. Really just focus on the green line and this pink line, which is the buy box. You can uncheck other things if you want to keep it very basic. We just want to see the demand, and we want to see that the item's price. Because if we see at this section, the green line goes down, that means a sale happened. And then we also see a price at that same time, that means a sale happened at that price. So we know at this point in time right here in late April that a sale happened because the line goes down and the price at that time was $123.99. So somebody got a sale at $123.99. We can conjecture after that, if things stay similar, that you'll be able to get a sale at a similar price. So the confusing thing about subcategories is that there's no green line up here. There's just a price, and you don't really see what's going on. And a lot of people, for some reason, either don't understand that there's a center category on Keepa. You know, they have it unchecked. They don't know what that means, et cetera, or whatever. But on subcategories, you have to look at the center point. So on this one, for example, we're seeing over the course of a year, the green line's gone down, the green line's gone down, 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 down. But we're seeing this, like, even though it's 50 sales rank, it's 50 sales rank in a subcategory, and it's still not that fast of a seller. So this is one that would probably sell relatively slow. I mean, it might sell faster than this. It's very possible, but potentially there's only as few as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or so sales in the last like month or two. So we're taking a look here. This is a 5-pack. Just amazing pictures. Like someone was a little sloshed when they were taking these pictures. And I totally get that. Like, it's good to have a nice drink and do some eBay listing, but at that point you might as well use stock photos. But we have $30. We do like the profit on this. $70 from $30 is great. Even after fees, that's still pretty good. There's a lot of fees on this one, which is pretty interesting. Usually it's not that high of a percentage, but we're still getting $21 profit. So ROI wise, 70%, great. I mean, as we get more and more advanced, like my friend Josiah He's not even going to touch something unless he can make like $500 profit on the skew. So as you get more advanced, you're not going to be like, oh, I want to do this $20 flip. I tend to be more up for doing like a $30 flip, a $40 flip, a $50 flip, if it's something that's going to be quick and easy to process, especially if you're FBAing something like this. You can just enter it into your prep center sheet or prep it yourself and just get it out the door quick, and you've made $20 profit. This one, it's going to be slow. So I'm just over analyzing all this, and hopefully you guys learned something new about subcategories, because I didn't understand that for several years of doing Amazon. So I'm going to take a second and take a look at the chat, because I have neglected you guys for the last 11 minutes if there are any comments. But it looks like there's not, so I'm just going to go ahead and keep sourcing. Share screen, entire screen. Let's see if we can put up some numbers on the board here. So again, like I was talking about before, we can refresh the page to find the freshest stuff, or we can take a look at some of these opportunities that are here. So I'm ungated in HP, so this could be an opportunity. We're seeing $126 profit, 112% ROI. This is not a subcategory. This is a high-ranked office product. There is some money in the high-ranked items sometimes. But looking at these pictures, I'm not into selling an item as new if it's completely been taken out of the box like this. It literally has construction tape on it. So I do not think that's new. Wait, this is the Amazon listing. Oh, terrible pictures. Okay, interesting. So looking at eBay, this box looks, they literally took 15 pictures of the box. And like here, it's like the box is in an amazing condition. So I definitely still think you could sell this as new. But it's going to be higher return rate for you probably. But let's see if the numbers work out. So we're at 100 plus 26. So 126. And so what's the current price on this? So there's no buy box on this listing, which I don't get as worried about that as a lot of other people do. As like we were talking about how when the green line goes down, that means the sale happens. Like we're still seeing their sales here, even when there's no buy box. Just it does slow down the sales sometimes. We're seeing the price around here is around 258. We've also seen that in the last several months, several more people have jumped on this listing. This is another dynamic of looking at Keepa that you can look at. It's not essential, but it does help us establish that there's a trend of more people going on this listing. And we've already seen that the price came down some. They were listed at $400 and the price did come down to $258. Basically showing there's only so many people on this listing trying to buy this item. Customers, only so many people, and there's just too much supply. So the price is like has to come down. And in the past, it was lower because this was more in circulation. We see that people were in stock here on a regular basis. People were probably getting this from retail sites. Yeah, so I mean, the price could come down all the way to like 210 potentially. But at 258, we are at $88 profit and 70% ROI. If we were to sell at 258, if we were to hold out. This is, you could, I mean, you're still going to be at profitable numbers if you sell it at this lowest price, 36% ROI. Now, would I want to sell a printer that looks like this at a 36% ROI? Me personally, no. I would probably pass on this just because like there's so many other good leads. Like I want to be in a situation where I can just snap off my inventory and there's a situation where there's way too many customers wanting to buy this for sellers on the listing. So, I mean, this is profitable, but it's mediocre. So I'm going to pass. We're going to go ahead and refresh the page. So looking at the newest stuff, DVD sets, I very rarely do DVD sets. That's just not my thing. There's profit there. So I know from past experience, if you've done DVDs before, you know that 200K sales rank in DVDs is very slow. So when you get started with Flipmine or sourcing different categories in general, you're just not going to understand and like know right off the bat, like, okay, 200K in DVDs is very slow, or even 100K in DVDs is very slow, but in apparel, it's good, et cetera, et cetera. So you'll just get faster as time goes on because you'll know more and more things. Like I know, for example, these are almost always replacement batteries. So if you go and source this lead, this is a 2-pack 18-volt for DeWalt replacement battery. So this is there are listings where they are trying to act like they are DeWalt, and those are counterfeit listings. But this is even worse than that. They're not even advertising to be DeWalt. They are saying this is a replacement battery for DeWalt. It's an aftermarket for DeWalt. So if you buy this and sell this on this listing, and like you definitely would be tempted to, like I have been, and most eBay to Amazon sellers have been, because it's like $26 and then it's a $200 listing. So you're not even going to be selling something that is supposed to be the brand. Like it's not even the same item. So this basically the point is you're going to see this and you're going to be like, okay, this is slow. You're going to see this and be like, okay, that's that situation with the batteries that this is a replacement battery. It's not even the brand. So you're going to be able to just be like, nope, nope, nope. And then you're just going to be able to move on and quickly go through this instead of having to sit here and be like, okay, what is this? Wow, this is profitable. $15. And actually it is very high ROI. So it might be worth it, but you're not going to have to click through this all the time and be like, oh man, this hasn't sold since August. And when it did sell, it was $20, $30. Like you're not going to even have to do all that. And you will have breezed by this and maybe refresh the page. And then another deal comes up and you analyze it quickly. Just like the book game, you got to analyze the deals quickly, because it might, in the book game, it might literally be 1, 2, 3% of your books are profitable. And if you're sitting here typing in the title of the Amazon book into your Seller Central, it's just going to take a long time and you're going to find a lot less. It's a higher percentage with this, but it's getting through the bad ones is definitely a big deal. We're going to refresh the page. Okay, so we're going to dig in here a little bit. This could be something. And I think I've actually looked at similar stuff to this, but we'll just go and take a look at them in a second. Okay, so this is some like tool industrial thing, and they have 7, which is, I don't stay away from those. I like those, as long as it has the demand on the Amazon side of things, which it looks like it's pretty slow. But then at the same time, also, there's not many sellers on the listing. So this might actually be able to support someone coming in with some quantity. This guy has quantity. Okay, so this is actually an interesting situation because there's literally been one guy, two guys on the listing for like a year at this point, and it's mostly been that one guy. And usually in this situation is the brand, and so you stay away, but I don't know if this is the brand. Torch and Welding Supply. So this Hugo's guy came on. So Torch and Welding Supply. So is that the brand? Red Dragon Torch. Doesn't seem like it. So what I would do to determine if the brand is on, if this is the brand, because if the brand's on the listing, that's an IP claim waiting to happen. I would go into this guy's store and see if he's selling like all this brand. And if he is, I would consider not selling on this listing. And if he's not, I would consider selling this. And there's 7 of them, which is pretty neat. They're a family-owned business. They like this category. It looks like they are a wholesaler with lots of different brands. Yeah, they're not like an author. Well, they could be an authorized distributor, but low chance of it. So, oh, and I just clicked out. Yeah, so I think this is a go, because at 56.25, yeah, this is one dinner each. Yeah, so we made some money right here. So 20 times 7, and on this in a month, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's around the 7 that seller amp is saying. So this guy has quantity. And also another thing on this is sometimes just because it goes down once doesn't mean that it was 1 unit. Like this one could have been, or this one, someone could have bought 3 units or 5 units. Like sometimes businesses are buying this like it's a contractor and they're needing to do a repair, and the person has this item that they have to repair or something, and they need 3 of them for whatever reason. So buying all 7 would be, it could sell in a month. It also could not, and be more like 2 months or 3 months. But it's good ROI, especially if your criteria is 30, 40%. This is double. So you would be willing to wait longer in order to actually sell through on this. But one thing I do before just going ahead and buying all these is many times I've checked on eBay and I've seen that actually some other guy has these for 22. So I'm going to do that. And it's interesting here that I have it filtered already to lowest price, and there's no other supply of this, which is a great sign. And even on eBay, someone has sold 10 of these at $60, which is awesome. And another little trick here to do is, because it's such a good deal, I'm curious how long he's been in stock on eBay for. He literally could have listed this yesterday. So what you do for that, if you're curious about that for whatever reason, you can search newly listed, and then you'll see he listed it, which is today, the 26th. So he literally listed this today. I mean, we did see it just pop up on Flipmine. We're kind of talking through this slowly. Flipmine has a little bit of a delay for when it was actually listed, but this was listed relatively recently. This is a good deal. You could even get greedy with this and message this guy for a offer as well, but this is a good deal. So, I mean, I'd add these to cart. And suddenly you've paid for several steak dinners just like that. 20 times 7 is 140. Yeah, so this is really good. And a funny thing too is like once you get good at sourcing Flipmine like this, like you can tell I'm not like that excited. I mean, it's a good deal and it's a buy, but once you get good at this, like you'll find $140 profits or $20 profits or $35 profits, and you'll be able to find them on a regular basis. And you got to keep doubling down on your ability to source, because that's the lifeblood of your business. I mean, that's what everyone wants content about. They want content about sourcing. And like, that's the thing you have to keep working on over and over again in different ways, is sourcing. And if you do eBay to Amazon, this is one of the best ways to do that through Flipmine. So yeah, if you do want to support the channel, it doesn't really matter too much to me, but I do have a link for a free trial of Flipmine in the description. If you want to pay for a coffee for myself every month and actually make money like this, like literally, I think this one is profitable too. This is a high rank in computers, but yeah, and someone else was doing this as well, and they found this, purchased 34. Oh, this is not a low rank, a high rank in computers. This is electronics. Yeah, so this will snap off and sell quick for them. Yeah, we missed that because we were talking. But that's how it goes. And then this is a situation where the brand is on the listing, but then there's also other people on the listing, and so people feel safe enough to sell this. They may or may not actually be safe, but whoever bought that either is using it or feels safe enough. So, but yeah, I'm going to take a look at my comments here. I am just lurking. Welcome. You're welcome to lurk. Good to have you. We got Christiana. Let's go. Jerry says, great channel. I'm new here. Thanks for the great content. Well, welcome, Jerry. Good to see you. Hopefully this is helpful. Christian Bada says, how do you know what to get ungated on? That looks like a generic item. You're finding some cool stuff. Thank you. I appreciate it. Generic. One thing about generic items, everyone was very scared about the, the Section 3 stuff on Amazon several months ago. One cool feature of IP Alert, if you don't know what IP Alert is, it basically, let's say I type in, I think it comes up on Epson. Does it? It doesn't. What's an IP Alert brand? Like Sony. Sony. Boombox. Basically, what IP Alert does is it pops up like that whenever you come across a brand, or it's brand specific, of brands where there have been reports and validated reports that people have gotten IP claims from the brand. And that doesn't mean that all of that brand is unsafe. But basically, IP Alert, another feature that they have is it also pops up when it's a generic listing. So if you have IP Alert and you're concerned about the Section 3 things, basically you're not supposed to list on a listing that is generic, basically where the brand is listed as generic. You see here, in each listing, there's a brand listed. And if it doesn't have a brand, that's a generic listing, and Amazon is not into that, and that's against terms of service. You're not supposed to make listings like that or sell on listings like that. So if you have IP Alert, it's going to pop up like that. So that will get you away from selling on generic listings. There's, it's actually pretty rare. I don't find listings like that much. So people were scared about it. Oh, I'm not even, am I sharing screen? I'm not even sharing screen. Yeah, let's go ahead and share screen here. So to just recap what I was talking about here, IP alert is going to pop up just like that. And it's going to say IP alert, or it's going to say generic. When you have IP alert downloaded, it's just going to show up on every Amazon page. It will pop up like this every time you go on a page like that. It'll do the same thing for generic. Sorry, I wasn't sharing screen there, but that is basically what IP alert does. So yeah, and then this question, how do you know what to get ungated on? That's a big thing that you guys are gonna have to deal with when selling on Amazon in general. Unless you just treat Amazon as the book game only and just sell books, then you can just be like, yeah, I just sell books and not really worry about brands too much besides textbooks. But when you start to source on Flipmine, especially for someone who hasn't, you know, sold tons and tons on Amazon, a lot of this stuff is going to be gated. And there's two types of people who sell on Amazon. There's someone who says, I'm ungated, and they move on and they don't take action. And then there's someone else who figures out how to go get ungated in that brand. And so obviously, like, for every single opportunity, I'm not going to spend time and be like, okay, I'm gated in, like, we'll just scroll down here and say like, yep, this is exactly what I got to source. Although it's interesting, it looks very profitable, and almost for sure this is probably a mismatch. It's got to be a mismatch because it's like 800% ROI. 10 ounce. Oh wait, what? Why was this 31? What? I'm confused. Buy box, was the buy box up at $300 on this? That's a weird one. But anyways, I'm not just gonna say like, oh, I have to get ungated in this brand because this one thing is profitable here. What I would do, what your question was, like, how do you decide, is if you're sourcing and you just keep seeing like, oh man, like I keep seeing this Microsoft and it's like profitable, and it's happened to me 2-3 times, and like, man, I missed out on $60 profit, and then I missed out on $50 profit. You like write that in a document and you're like, okay, man, I got to get ungated in Microsoft. And then there's a lot of different ways you can get ungated. But I have heard that you can get ungated from Best Buy. So I'm pretty sure Best Buy has Microsoft items. So you could go to Microsoft, and then for ungating, you need to buy 10 units. Which is very daunting when you type something in and the first thing you see is a $1,300 laptop. What you do is you filter by lowest price. And so it's a lot more, this might actually be profitable. I love that clearance. But it's a lot more doable when it's like an $8 cost and it's an $80 ungate rather than a several $100 thing. So we'd love to find this on Amazon. And if its regular price is $40, it's actually potentially profitable. The point with ungating is you're not trying to, like, you know, actually make money off the ungate. You're trying to get ungated. You might literally lose $80 and you just say, whatever, like, I wrote it off as a loss on my taxes, and now I can sell all of Microsoft. And then you can sell any item from Microsoft. And anytime you see Microsoft on Flipmine for any of the probably thousands of items of Microsoft, that we see here, there's 19,000 Microsoft products on Amazon. And a lot of them are these weird softwares, which I would be careful with. But there's thousands of products here. You get that ungate, just like the Nike ungate. You get the Nike ungate and you buy your 10 socks or whatever, and you sell those socks for a loss, and it's fine. You suck it up. You say, it's okay. I lost $50. That is a cost of business. I'm a big boy. I can handle it. And then you go and make $50,000 selling Nike, or $11,000 selling Microsoft. And I'm just picking on Microsoft because it came up. And it's just a bonus if this item is profitable. So we're just going to go ahead and do the thing. You want to make sure that it's actually the same item. So it is a little harder to tell sometimes if it's the same item, but I'm just going to go to Amazon. We're going to search for this item. But you can do this if you have Seller Amp. Sometimes it'll just show up here, which is pretty neat. It literally got the same picture here, which is neat. We see model number EJP00001. EJP0001. Looks like we got a match. That was freaking easy. All right, so this is going to be a situation where we're not going to make money on this. We already have some big boy who came in and they're selling this at $8. For some reason, they're getting it cheaper, or maybe they're like us and they wanted to go and get it in Microsoft, whatever. You still sell it, like whatever, you get your $377 back and you lose $43 or whatever. It's okay. Again, you get your ungate, you suck it up, you write the loss off, and you make some money. And you'll find themes on Flipmine of there are certain brands that you're going to see more than others. So basically what you do is you're going to buy 10 of this item, and either they are going to give you a digital invoice or a physical invoice. I'm pretty sure, I think Best Buy gives a physical invoice, and that'll be received in the box. And then you take a picture of that, and up here, when you go to sell this item on Amazon, which I don't really do it this way ever, but when you go to list this item in your Seller Central, if you have Rev Seller, you can click it like that. I don't even remember how to do it on Seller Amp because I'm a little older of a seller. I started with Rev Seller and I like both. You're basically going to take a picture of that invoice. You're going to have 10 units from here. Your authorized distributor is Best Buy. It's going to have your business name on it, and your address. Make sure you ship it to the same address that is in your Amazon account. There's going to be a place to upload the document. You tick the boxes, and they'll ungate you. They'll make a choice about it in either within the next 10 minutes or in a couple days. If you have all the right information, even if they deny you, keep resubmitting it. It could be several times. Just keep doing it, especially like if you know for sure that what you did was correct, just keep resubmitting it. People, Reezy Resells years ago literally got ungated for Star Wars with a blank receipt. Like, that stuff happens. So even if you don't have it right, you could probably keep resubmitting it and get it through eventually. So yeah, that's how I would go about an ungate. That's a super long answer. And hopefully that was helpful to you guys. And hopefully you guys end up in my DMs in 5 months and we're sharing leads together because of that. But not like you have to, obviously. But that's sometimes how it goes. Like someone learns something and then we end up being friends in the future. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to my chat here, but that's a basic rundown of how I would do it. Just take the loss. I understand you don't want to lose $43. If you see a theme of wanting this brand, like go after the brand. Oh, we got sarcasm in the chat. I love that. I was displaying some sarcasm earlier. My wife's laughing downstairs. Love it. Okay, so we're behind in the chat. I will check it out. Okay, so Christian says, I want to avoid buying items to get ungated on and only sell one item from Flipmine and never find the product again. I want to avoid buying items to get ungated on and only sell one. Oh, yeah, well, you know, you're not going to do everything perfectly. And, you know, like rarely do you just find one item in a brand. So if you really want to avoid it, just wait until you've missed the opportunity 5 times and then go get it ungated. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Thank you. Very helpful. Does Best Buy provide invoices with online purchases? They do. Yep. Yep. That makes sense. I've somewhat followed the same path. Sells well because of low competition. Specifically that brand. I've never heard of that brand. Sarcasm says, do you typically send test orders? Because if I'm gated in something, there's really no way to send in test orders. Yeah, I don't do tons of test orders at this point, but if you're just starting, I would do test orders. As you get more comfortable with what you're doing, you could avoid test orders. Because as time goes on, sometimes you'll see that you buy something on your test buy and you don't go that deep, but then you go to restock it and it's gone. That does happen. So if you're actually confident in your data analysis, you can go deeper right off the go. But like you need to be very confident in your abilities, because you don't want to just go spending $2,500 and then you did it on a variation that doesn't sell. Yep. So, yeah, so test buying something right off an ungate is a little harder, but I mean, depending on the price of the item, like that one was $8. So 10 units of an $8 item is a pretty good test buy, honestly. So kind of depends on the item. Not going to do that with laptops. Christian says you have to get ungated before you send in test orders. You can't get it listed. Yep. Exactly. How do you factor in shipping costs when you purchase off a website, then inbound to Amazon in your profit margin software? Good question. So let's go ahead and share screen. And this is really important to grasp here. Really good question. So we're going to close this. We'll just go back into this. So basically, I mean, the short answer is it's already factored into your software. When I don't even know where to look because it's just so ingrained in what we do. But where is the settings here? Settings. So when you go into your settings, I'll try to show it on. Oh, wow. There's a lot of stuff there. I'll do it on SellerAmp because I think more people use SellerAmp these days. So settings. Yeah. So right here, it factors in a certain rate per pound for inbound shipping to Amazon. So a pretty standard rate that most people factor is around anywhere between 50 cents to $1 per pound. So let's say, so if I were to clear this out, it would show in my seller amp a higher profit, but because we have 50 cents in here, it's going to factor in 50 cents a pound. So if this item is 8 ounces, for example, half a pound, it's going to factor out that 25 cents. So on an item that's like 20 bucks, for example, and you have this, it's going to factor out that $13, $14 of inbound shipping. It just factors that in. So yeah, that's important to make sure that's in your settings. I mean, on this item, it actually doesn't matter that much because it's such a light item. I think this is like 4 ounces. Oh, it's actually half a pound. I was pretty spot on. How do I exit the settings? And you can tell on RevSeller, it tells you weight. And then here, just like this, it says 11 ounces. So this was cost a whopping 33 cents to send to Amazon on average. So that's factored into your analysis here. Are you meaning off of the source site? If you're talking about, like, let's say you're doing regular online arbitrage and you're buying off Best Buy or whatever to do online arbitrage with, how would you factor in shipping costs? 100% I would include that as your buy cost. For sure. So let's say this item that we were ungating in, like I'm buying 10 of them. So that's $7.99 times 10. So $79.99, or that's not how it's going to work, but it's going to be pretty close to 80. And then they charge $8 for shipping. It's going to be $88 divided by 10. So it's going to be $8.80 as your cost of goods. So that's how I would factor that in. And 100% if you're doing eBay to Amazon, you need to factor in shipping as your cost of goods. Because that's sometimes make it or break it. Sarcasm says, if you buy 10 units, send invoice to Amazon and then return the items without listing them, Amazon will ban you. Do they actually ban you for that? I don't think so. But that is, yeah, I don't suggest that because that's just a great way to get websites to be reseller unfriendly. Like, imagine if someone bought 10 units from you and then returned it 3 weeks later because they're like, I want it to get ungated. Like, that would just, that's not the change that I want to see in the world. That's not reading the Keepa graph for your life. But I don't think Amazon's going to ban you. I don't know. Maybe people are getting banned. Christian Brother says, which I love your name. It's kind of like Christian Brother, my brother in Christ. Get ungated. Would you stick with one product or go wide with electronics, books, or anything that is profitable? Kind of like with the test buy thing. I think as your experience grows, you should go deeper on stuff. So I think for a lot of people, going wide is 100% the best way to go, because you can just turn over that money so quick. You can make your money go so much further for you. I'm just gonna close some tabs here and pull up a Google Doc and show you guys an example of why it's so good to go wide if you don't have enough capital. And it's a capital versus time thing. So I'm going to share screen here. Oh yeah, and sarcasm sending the items back is unethical. Yeah, it's a little debatable, but yeah, kind of like I said, it's just going to make people reseller unfriendly. But talking about going wide versus deep, I'm going to share screen here and show you guys. So let's say we are Seth's little Amazon store. We're going to make this bold, and we're going to make this 34 font. We're going to center it. All right. So Seth has 10 grand. Seth wants to make a lot of money on Amazon. So this is Seth going wide versus Seth going deep. So if I go, let's say we're going to talk about going deep first. Let's say I buy 5 different items and I put 2 grand into each one. And that 2K on 5 different items, I bought 3 months worth of inventory for those. So it's what we'll call it February 1st right now. I will be sold out of my inventory in 3 months. So March, April, May. May 1st, I'll be sold out. And I mean, this is just super basic, but this is an extreme example of why it's so powerful to go wide. I bought 3 months worth of inventory. Let's say I bought this at 40% ROI. So that's 4,000 of potential profit. I bought deep. I bought 3 months worth of inventory. That means if everything goes perfectly and I sell exactly this 4K potential profit in 3 months, I've made $4,000 in 3 months. So great, you made your 4K in 3 months, but over those 3 months, you still had your 200K, or not 200K, but your $200 of software costs and whatever other costs in your business you had. And that's for every single month. And you're dividing this by 3 months. And like, let's say this is the only amount of money that you have to put into your business. So you literally made 4K divided by, I'm just going to make this smaller so it stays on the page because this is a little ridiculous. But hopefully you guys are seeing the point here. Over 3 months, Seth's little business did $1,300 of profit per month. But if I, instead of this, and then you have to minus this $200 of costs. So literally you might as well have worked at McDonald's, to be frank with you. Because after all that, like you're going to be at like $1,000 a month, because you guys probably have other costs besides software. But if you went wide with this, we're just going to cut and paste this, put it on the next page. Let's say you still bought the 4K potential profit, which you could raise your ROI if you have that little capital. And you bought this over 50 ASINs. I mean, I don't know if you need to go 50 ASINs deep. What was I saying? You spent 2K on each. Yeah, so that's actually $200 you spent on each lead. So you'll literally have 10 times the learning as well. So not only your money is spread out more, but your learning is spread out more. You'll see the results of $200 spread over 50 ASINs. Let's say you took this to the massive extreme and you only bought 2 weeks worth of inventory and you did this effectively and everything sold out the way you thought. But by Valentine's Day, you'll actually have money to take your date out. And wife's cracking up downstairs. You'll have made your 4K in 2 weeks. And like this whole discussion, we're not going to break down and talk about the cash flow cycle of Amazon because that's a whole nother topic. But you made your 4K in 2 weeks and you got the learning from your 50 different ASIN purchases in 2 weeks. So you made the $4,000 in a month, which is awesome. And then you still had to minus your costs. So instead of making $1,300 minus 200 in a month, because everything's so like centralized here, your costs aren't affecting you as much. So this is like the 10-minute answer to your question. Like I could just give 15-second answers to everything, but I'm here to talk and teach with you guys and just kind of hang out and learn from you guys as well. So this is the long answer. If you spread out your money, you're gonna make more money, and you're gonna get more learning. The obvious problem to this is a lot more effort to source 50 different deals than 5 different deals and just be like, yeah, I'm done for the month. I'm not going to do anything more. The thing is you're going to learn more here. And yeah, it's going to take you more time to find 50 different deals. But then like once you do this for enough times and you're actually very confident in your data because you've studied the chess game, you've gone back and looked at the result of your actions, the Keepa graph for your life. Like I'm trying to do that with my personal life and my personal growth as well. Not just Keepa graphs for your Amazon business, but the Bible for your life. You're going to actually be able to look at the results of what happened and be like, yeah, these 12 units just sold out like that. And then next time you can actually go deep on that product and actually make your time more effective for you. And you can purchase 40 units next time because you're going to have that confidence there. So that's the pros and cons. Short answer, if you don't have a ton of capital, I would suggest going wide. If you just don't have time, you have a full-time job or something, like you might need to just take this side. You're just going to have to know that you're not going to learn as much. This is the story of Seth's little Amazon store, and hopefully that was helpful. Yeah, and something's weird with my screen, so I want to present screen to get that to go away. And then stop. But yeah, anyways, we're still back kind of far in the chat, but is it against Amazon terms of service? I don't think it actually is, as far as I know, but it's kind of like I don't want to do that ethically type thing. Stank Hollywood says, when you ship your, I'm very curious in the chat. Can you guys let me know if my screen is absolutely destroyed? Because what I'm seeing is half of the screen working and then half of the screen glitching. So if you guys could let me know, that would be very helpful to see if I need to do something else with my screen. But for now, I'm going to keep reading the comments here. Stank Hollywood says, when you ship your items to Amazon, how long does it take for the items to be active? Okay, so he's saying half glitching. I'm going to share screen here. Is the screen still glitching if I'm sharing screen here? If you guys could let me know, that would be great. But for now, I am. It's still glitching. I will be right back. The live stream is still going on, but I'm going to leave studio and come back. All right, looks like we're still live, but my camera is not working for now. So we're going to stop camera and switch cameras. All right. Looks like this will work good enough here. All right. So back to this question here. When you ship your items to Amazon, how long does it take for them to be active? Yeah, and that's the cash flow cycle that I was talking about, which is another big factor in how you're going to run your business. Because if you ship your items to Amazon, they'll go active anywhere between. Sometimes they literally go active within a day or two, but most of the time it's 1 to 4 weeks, which is pretty normal. So that's just a part of life. If you really don't like it, you can FBM, but most people don't want to do that, and it's understandable. Depends on the season too. In Q4, I kind of just say like, yep, it's going to be a month. So I try and take advantage of that. Yeah, 10 days if you're lucky, maybe less. Yeah, I'm just that's a good way to see it. Yes, off the source site. So yeah, so going back to the shipping cost of goods question. Let's say it doesn't offer free shipping. Every website might have a different shipping cost. So how are you factoring that into SellerAmp? Do you just put a rough estimate per unit? Yeah, I put it in the cart and I see what the shipping is going to be, and that's my cost of goods. Like the cost of goods includes shipping. Got to factor that in, because especially if you do like low cost of good units and you're like, oh, it's only $4 each, and like I can sell these for 12. Awesome. And I'm making $4 profit on each, but then the shipping makes it like $1 profit each. Like suddenly, like it matters. It matters for sure. They don't care if you send it in. It's probably about the ungating question. Yeah, I'm definitely not taking any chances. Amazon already screws us enough with the returns. Yeah. 50 ASINs would also give you more personal data to replen off of instead of 5. Yep. So it's like I was talking about, there's 2 types of people earlier. Like one type of person who puts on their big boy pants and actually gets ungated in Nike or Microsoft or whatever it is. And then the other person who's just not going to be bothered. There's also the type of person who's willing to put in the work to buy 50 ASINs. And then there's another type of person who buys 4 ASINs and then lists them. Or they might even do this with books. They'll list like 8 books and they'll be like, why are my books not selling? It's like, dude, you haven't done anything, man. To be blunt. Like, yeah, I understand. You gotta get your proof of concepts. I'm being a little harsh here, but like you gotta get your proof of concepts, but like what you reap is what you sow. Back to the 𝗦ici𝗰𝗶𝗹, the Bible. That's what it says there. That's what Jesus said. And there's 2 types of people. There's people who are gonna buy 5 ASINs and then say it doesn't work, or there's people who buy 50 ASINs and they're like, oh man, like I actually understood like what happened here. Like most of this stuff sold eventually. It took a little longer than I thought, but I actually understand what's going on here. There's 2 types of people. So be that type of person. You got it. All right. Half glitching. Cool. Hopefully. Yeah. Right now, I think this is working. Sweet. Yeah. Thank you for the help with that, guys. Christian brother, prophesying that into your life. You're going to be a Christian brother of mine. What is your goal per year? Are you going to shift to wholesale eventually? No, I'm actually not into wholesale. It's not my thing. It's a good model. It's not for me. Especially right now anyways. eBay to Amazon is working very, very well. My goal for the year is 300K profit. And so like a year ago, I would have been like, what? 300K profit? Like I've never even done 300K in sales. Like, yeah, fair enough. But, yeah, 300K profit is my goal. At the start of last year, I think my January I profited like $2,500 because I was recovering off some account health issues. But things got better and better throughout last year. I started FBMing and buying at high ROI the summer of last year. And things have just continued to escalate and get better and better. August, September, October, November, December, most of those months were above 20K profit, which is just like, I'm super thankful for that. So, and then December was, it was 32K profit. And I think November, I also did above 25K. So it felt relatively reasonable to be like, okay, I'm going to do 23K profit 10 months out of the year. I think this is the math: 23K profit 10 months of the year, 30K November, 40K December. So that's what I'm shooting for tentatively. But then again, I'm not gonna bend over backwards to make that happen. Like, I'm gonna work full-time max and do my best with that. The path seems to be selling books, flipping items, online arbitrage, and eventually wholesale. Yeah, a lot of people do it that way. I definitely sold books for 9 months before I sold any other items on Amazon. And actually, I'm kind of thankful I did that because back to the ungating question, if you sell a bunch of stuff, like if you put up 80K of sales in books, for example, like you can get ungated in categories literally by just selling more stuff because Amazon starts to trust you. Kind of like God starts to trust you as you start doing the things he says to do, but that's besides the point. What does your daily routine look like? But yeah, back to this question. I'll go back to this in a second, but yeah. And like that was the path that I ended up taking. Everyone doesn't have to do that. I kind of wish I had gotten into other stuff faster, but that's how it goes. You know, it's fine. I think my first successful online arbitrage purchases were books that I had sold in the past for a lot of profit. Like when you find like Smart Money Secrets from the library and it sells like that for $125, and then you see it on eBay for $60. This is an example from like 3 years ago. You're like, okay, like I think I have the confidence to buy it for $60 because like I netted $95 from it when I sold it on Amazon last time. And like, I'm willing to just get that easy $35 profit just like that. And so that kind of ended up being a foundation of how I got started with eBay to Amazon. And then you can just get better and better at online arbitrage and all the different ways to do it. Sarcasm says, what does your daily routine look like? I don't necessarily have a daily routine. But like this morning, for example, there's 2 guys from church that I'm hanging out with, and we met and talked and hung out at a coffee shop this morning. So that's what I did this morning. And then I've been working on my taxes for last year. So that's something that I spent some time doing. And today I felt like doing a live stream. So that's what I'm doing. But like a weekly routine that I'm doing is I'm trying to get my listing done by Friday every week. And then I'm FBMing most of what I'm doing these days. So I'm trying to stack most of my shipping to do on Monday because Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all of those need to be shipped out on Monday. And so I'm hiring help to come in on Monday to help me do shipping all on Monday so I don't have to do as much work. So I can delegate some of that. But it's hard to have someone come and like, hey, can you come over here and ship my items for 40 minutes every day? Like, that's a hard thing to do. But if you stack it and have someone come over to help you for 3-4 hours on Monday, that's more doable for me. So I'm trying to get all my stuff listed by Friday, and then ship out all the items on Monday. And then for now, I've been just shipping my items out regardless every other day as well. Christian Brother says, it is funny. 300K doesn't sound like that high of a goal. I'm sure you can hit that easily. I'm at 7 months and selling 10K a month. Let's go. Good to hear that. Yeah. I mean, like stuff really does catapult pretty quickly if you like are doing the right things. Nice. What's typically your ROI and inventory investment per month? Is it all eBay to Amazon? I'm doing all eBay to Amazon. And ROI. So we were talking earlier about potential profit. So potential profit is my goal for input per month. So I'm shooting for at least 36,000 of potential profit. Estimating that around 75-ish% of that will sell. And then I have costs. So that comes out to around 23,000 of profit per month, if all that goes according to plan. So, and then my ROI has been, I have a 100% ROI in 100 days. I said that terribly wrong. 100K at 100% ROI in 100 days series. That was a hard series to film because it's like, I was trying to do that based on my business. But it's like, I can't show every single item that I'm selling. So we had to blur a lot of it. But the concept is that there are really good deals out there. And if you get the basics down, you can find really, really good deals. So yeah, I'm sourcing at around 100% ROI still. Taxes is a nightmare. When did you decide to get a CPA? I've just been I used a CPA for taxes last year and this year. And then we're turning into an S Corp as well. So we did that for 2023. So yeah, that's what I did. FBM only. That seems like a huge amount of work. It is, but it's a lot less work if you avoid $10 profit items. Because if I had to ship out one-off $10 profit items, FBM, in order to do 36K profit, that's a lot of units to FBM. So 36,000. I mean, I should be able to just do that math, but I can't. That's 3,600 units. So I don't want to ship 3,600 units. So yeah, you can lower the workload by, let's say I buy 100 units of something I know is going to sell very well. It's the same item. I have a worker, friend of mine now. He's learning to resell, but he comes in and I'll just ask him to pre-prep all of those items. Then they're all polybagged, ready to go, and I just have to put a label on them. So if I do stuff like that, or I delegate out certain parts of the process, it works out pretty good. I'm not doing more than 30 hours a week at this point. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I am hungry. It is around 12 o'clock here. I think, yeah, 12:15. It's been good hanging out. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, feel free to. That helps me know that this is content that you guys like. Make sure to use Keepa for your purchases. You're spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on these purchases. And if you don't have the correct data behind it, like, what are you doing? So you need the Keepa graph for your Amazon business. You need the Keepa graph for your life. Be growing in that. Be thinking about that. With that being said, have a great rest of the day and take care.